For the past few weeks, I've been eagerly waiting for this evening. After over a year of being with Layla, I felt certain it was time to introduce her to my parents. This wasn't just a casual dinner. It meant something. My parents had always been supportive of my relationships, though they never gave their trust easily. They loved me deeply, and anyone entering my life had to earn that same level of respect. So I made sure everything was just right. I cooked, cleaned, and even wore the shirt my mother always said brought out my best side. Layla arrived right on time, looking effortlessly elegant. She wore a confident smile that I once thought was warmth. She greeted my parents with the right words, shook their hands with the kind of firmness that made people feel assured, and we all sat down to eat. My parents were gracious. They asked her questions about her passions, her job, even her childhood. I watched, hoping she'd laugh at my father's dry jokes and maybe share a story or two with my mom about traveling or her favorite recipes. And for a while, it felt like it was all going well. But then something shifted. Her gaze toward me changed. It lacked the softness it once held. Her smile seemed rehearsed, her laugh hollow. She wasn't being rude, not directly, but her energy was cold, detached. Still, I tried to stay optimistic. We were just getting started. Maybe she was nervous. Then it happened. I had just finished telling a story, a light, self-deprecating one about a clumsy moment at work, when she let out a soft, annoyed sigh. It was barely noticeable, but I caught it, and then, as if she wanted to make sure it stung, she looked right at me and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "To be honest, I really don't need you." The silence that followed was immediate and heavy. My parents froze mid-bite. My dad's eyes narrowed slightly, and my mother stopped chewing, her fork suspended in the air. I turned toward Layla, unsure if I just imagined it, if maybe I had misunderstood. But she met my eyes with a look that was unmistakable, smug, challenging, like she wanted to see how I'd respond. I felt a swirl of confusion, disbelief, and heartbreak. But strangely, it all gave way to calm. Not rage or humiliation, just clarity. The kind that only comes when a truth you've been avoiding finally crashes down on you. I looked at my parents. They seemed stunned, unsure whether to intervene or wait for my lead. So I gave it to them. I nodded once, slow, purposeful. Then, without saying a single word, I rose from my chair. Layla opened her mouth, maybe to backpedal or maybe to escalate it further. I never found out. I was already heading for the door. My parents called my name, voices filled with concern. But I didn't stop. I grabbed my jacket and keys, stepped outside, and shut the door behind me. The cold air hit hard, but it was grounding. I stood for a second on the porch, letting the silence settle in. Then I walked to my car, got in, started the engine, and drove. I didn't know where I was going. I just drove, block after block, streetlight after streetlight. I sat in the quiet hum of the vehicle, my mind replaying every moment. Every red flag I had brushed aside. Every time she talked down to me in private, and I laughed it off. Every moment she made me feel like I was asking for too much when all I wanted was kindness and mutual respect. Her words rang in my ears. I don't need you. And for the first time, I saw them not as rejection, but as release. She was right. She didn't need me. And I certainly didn't need someone who could strip me down in front of the people I love most. When I eventually made it back home, hours later, my parents were waiting. They didn't ask for details. They didn't press. They just pulled me into a hug, tight, comforting, wordless. That's all I needed. In the days that followed, I didn't contact her. I didn't look her up. I didn't try to fix what had never really been whole. I went through the usual storm, hurt, confusion, anger, but beneath it all was something solid, certainty. I hadn't lost anything. I had finally seen the truth for what it was. There was no dramatic fight, no final argument, just a quiet exit. And in that silence, I found strength. I learned that respect is the backbone of love. Without it, everything crumbles. I learned that walking away doesn't mean you're weak. It means you stop tolerating being treated like less than you are. That sometimes the loudest statement is the one you don't say at all. And I realized that not every story needs a dramatic ending. Sometimes, leaving in silence is the ending. and it's enough.